Hi everyone, how are you? I am getting ready to do part 5 of the discovery. Only things to update you about are okay, most importantly, I got the cats, the litter robot 4, and it says that it works for up to 3 to 4 cats. So the one should be fine, but they say to leave one litter box out because I had four, three litter box, one for each, or did I have four? I don't know. I think I had four and I cut down to one a few weeks ago, and because you should have one for each cat, then one spare. Doesn't matter. They all use one because they all want to fight over whatever, right? So got the litter robot 4, and it's actually pretty cool. It's super light. The litter they sent for it before, which is 20 pounds, weighed more than the whole thing. It comes about the size of a freaking washing machine. So I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna need my strong sons to get this up the stairs. And they got it up there, and I'm like, you guys did it? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, wasn't it really hard? And they're like, no, it's gonna be all weird. So then when I went to move it, because I vacuumed out the laundry room and everything to put the thing in, I moved it and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is plastic. It's like super light. No wonder my kids were looking at me like I'm crazier than most days. So anyway, um, the cats were really scared of it. They're like, what is it? For like 3 hours. They would like peek around the door, go real close to it, and then back up if anything in the house, scared them at all. So they have an app, and so it shows they were using it all through the night. So they probably were just jumping in, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out. But it's really cool. It sorts everything out. It sorts the turds out, and it says it has never caught a cat in it. Like it's never trapped a cat. It waits till the cats jump out before it starts to turn and churn. So it's looking good so far. So that's the really important things going on in Tabitha Jane's lifestyle. As for Wattsville, let me tell you, hmm I got curious about the ongoing family matter. Um, because all we have for proof right now, because remember, we're going back to all the proof and the facts, and only the truth and facts to up to this point is what we're dealing with, right? Um, and we have that Mama Roo called the police and said that Christopher and Shanann had a court date upcoming for an ongoing family matter. She didn't state what ongoing family matter, anything other than that, other than an ongoing family matter, right? So, the rumors that I have heard over the years surrounding that are myriad. There's so many to count. And it became that, oh, the courthouse is, that courthouse only does tax things, or that courthouse only does this, or whatever. No, my God. It's a full service courthouse. It's a full ass Superior Court. It's beautiful. It's a historic building. I recommend all people go and look at the beautiful architecture and research who it was built by. It's a real piece of work. But anyway, it does everything from, yeah, back taxes to speeding tickets to family court to, um, isn't that where Christopher was sentenced? Uh, so anyway, we have no proof of what it was really about. Now, the fact that Mama Roo knew about it, Christopher hadn't said anything about it. Was Mama Roo inferring that there was a court date for that? Was that going to be the eviction proceeding? Was that when Christopher was going to find out that the house payment had not been made, that he was getting up every day working hard to make? So was Mama Roo trying to say, the shit was actually going to hit the fan on, was it the 24th? Um, because after you haven't made the payment, that's where it goes, is the eviction hearing, because the bank will have you in court. And I've only heard of how it goes for renters. I don't know actually, how it goes for a home being foreclosed upon. I assume it's the same. I assume, and I could be wrong, that the bank probably goes in front of a judge and says, if the house payment is not brought up to date by this date and time, then we will move towards eviction within 10 days, whatever. I don't think it's just, knock, knock, wake up, you're on the street. I think that there must be something like that. So was that Mama Roo saying, my daughter had really been fucking up, and if he found out, this could have been the reason why he went apeshit? And I could see him going apeshit on her and something going wrong. But I don't understand the children. I will never understand how the children, unless it is exactly as he said, is that she went in and unalived the girls. He went after her. Still don't understand why he wouldn't have called 911 even after it all. But, he was trained like an obedient dog. I mean, him and Dieter probably ate from the same frickin' bowl sometimes. Sure, Dieter had his own bowl and Christopher got leftovers from the bowl. Anyway, if you go and check out this courthouse, beautiful courthouse, like I say, check out the reviews. This is going to tell us everything you know. It's got like 1 or 2 stars out of 5. And if you go through the comments, yeah, you're going to see your one person, who's pissed off because it's their own fault for being not the best citizen in the world, right? But you're going to see that there are a varied amount of comments from different people dealing with different areas of the courthouse with a consistent theme that these people are rude and incompetent. We're talking from police officers to officers of the court to court staff. There's an ongoing theme that Weld County is a good old boys club, rude, incompetent. They cover up for each other. This is how this case is so screwed up. This case was born and generated in that courthouse. That level of low care for the community and the service of their community begins and ends there. Yes, there's the crime scene. From what happened to that crime scene is why we pay taxes. We have a judicial system. We have officers who are sworn to protect, but they're also supposed to find the truth. Well, they're the first responders. I mean, they can't do everything, but they are the eyes and the ears of the court. And what they write down can determine a person's innocence or being convicted for life or the death penalty. I mean, life and death depends on the eyes and ears of the court officers. And if they are known for being incompetent, rude, and this is an accepted norm, there's a problem in Weld County. Now, what's the other biggest case that people still wonder about? Who killed JonBenét? This is in the same area. This is Colorado. Both cases come from this area, okay? We're going and we're spinning a globe, like we used to in the 2nd grade. We used to have the globes because you didn't have Google, and you'd spin it around and see where you could put your finger on and then go and look up that place or decide you want to go to travel to there. They'll spin it around and go to that area of the world and say, the two biggest screwed up court cases that keep people up at night, like Tabitha Jane staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., came from Colorado. Why is that? Well, it was very low populated until they were able to become a boom town because they legalized marijuana. So go check them out. Check that out. And then also see that it's a full service courthouse. So whatever they were supposed to be in court for, we may find out that it's there. We may find out that there was a bench warrant issued because they didn't attend court. We may find out later in this discovery. But until I see it, that's where we're going with. We're going right there from there. So hope you all are enjoying this holiday season. I started an Instagram, and it's Tabitha Jane 0, not O, just like my email, tabithajane0@gmail.com, because the frickin' computer had to generate something so confusing, so I'm sure that half of my emails are being bounced because they're going to Tabitha Jane O, because that's what it looks like, but no, it's a 0. So if you go to Instagram, and I know a couple of you have already found me, I put a link to it on my community page. And I put up my Christmas tree pictures, and I will be adding the pictures that I say I'm going to post here of the discovery there. Because when I post things on the community post, it only keeps them for 24 hours. So if you don't listen to my thing, or God knows my COVID brain only fires on one cylinder, I forget, it's just not there. So if I do these things and add them to Instagram later or whatever, it gives you guys the ability to comment later, and hopefully it's another way for us to interact. And I loaded the Christmas tree pictures last night. My husband was asleep, so I had the sound down. It looked like it put it up to some song, so I don't know what song it has on there. So if it's some weird-ass song with my Christmas tree, that's because I haven't listened to it myself. Anywho, check it out on Instagram, Tabitha Jane 0. And it's a little picture of Boo Boo looking over the laptop at me as my profile picture. Okay? So, that's how you know you found it. And without further ado, I made the executive decision to go from pages 60 where we left off to 63, as it was redundant. It was exactly what was said in there. It was just all of the information logged and whatnot. So 60 to 63 were just moot points. I hopped over to 63 to begin. And so we will start here with Watts Discovery Part 5 from pages 63 on, if you guys are following along. And it is actually Discovery 82. So Discovery page 82, which is page 63 in the full 1,960 pages that we are going for. So I'm drinking the hard stuff. I'm drinking Gatorade Zero. And what flavor are we at today? Berry. It's a 0 sugar thirst quencher, and it is in flavor berry. I don't really know why I drink this, but I do. Okay. So here we go. Supplemental report, no property, FPD, report number, as we know by heart now, 180-6743. And this is by Officer Catherine Lines on 8/17/2018 at time 053, location 333 5th Street. So it's at the police department, little after midnight, not quite 1 a.m. on the 17th, and by Officer Catherine Lines, who we have seen her input before. She seems to be quite thorough. So here she is. On Friday, August 17th, 2018, I received a Safe to Tell report stating that a woman who identified herself as Juanita saw on the news that a woman and her 2 daughters were found dead and that Chris Watts was to blame. She goes on to state that one of her Facebook friends has a daughter named Bella, and that he mentions misinformation about having a wife. She stated she has no more information but wants to wait and didn't know what school, so she just chose one. The report has no contact information for Juanita. A copy of the Safe to Tell transcript has been added to the file. Nothing further, Officer Kalines. Oh, good Lord. Here goes the COVID brain. What the? You know what? How did this happen? I saw this before. I'm really sorry. Somehow this went back to page 38. I'm sorry. Okay. What in the world? Sorry about that, guys. I'm challenged. So 63 was repetitive. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to start on 64. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry about that. COVID brain. And what in the world? How did that happen? What? Okay. Well, we just wanted to hear from Juanita one more time, right? Juanita's cracked the case. And so here we are. Here we are on page 64 because 63 was just the same charting of the information we talked about before. So now I do apologize for that misinformation that I gave you because we are at Discovery page 108. And we are on page 63. Goodness sakes. Okay, so here we are with supplemental report, no property, and we are talking with Officer Ivan Perez at report number 1806743, date 8/18, time 2:27, location 225, Kimbark Street in Longmont. Okay, so we're in a different area here. And here we go, and on 8/17 at approximately 20:41 hours, so 10:41, I was requested by Detective Baumhover to transport items of evidence to the Longmont Police Department. Detective Baumhover handed me 4 brown paper bags that were all sealed with red tape. Bag number 1, underwear number 1. Bag number 2, shirt number 2. Bag number 3, bra number 3. Bag number 4, sheet number 7. All 4 bags contained Shanann Watts' name printed on a printed label. I need some coffee. Yes, folks, it is 2:30 in the afternoon. I woke up an hour ago. I have not had coffee, and no coffee and COVID brain. Yeah, you know. Oh, okay. So I arrived at the Longmont Police Department at approximately 21:02 hours. So that would be 9:02 p.m. I was escorted to the Longmont Police Evidence Room by Officer Jocelyn Placentia. I cut the red tape that was sealing the sheet number 7 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a white sheet with dirt all over and red stains. Wrapped inside the sheet was a small pile of dirt. The dirt was placed in a separate brown bag and marked dirt from sheet number 7. Sheet was placed inside a dry room locker, draping over a rod that was inside the locker. The sheet was tagged as number 7 with the case number and locked inside the locker along with the bag of dirt. I then cut the red tape that was sealing the bra number 3 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a black bra that was covered in dirt. The bra was placed inside a different drying locker on a shelf. The bra was tagged as number 3 along with the case number. I cut the red tape that was sealing the shirt number 2 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a shirt, white on top and purple on the bottom, with what appeared to have a heart logo in the middle of the shirt. The shirt was also covered in dirt. The shirt was placed inside the same drying locker as the bra on a hanger. The shirt was tagged as number 2 along with the case number. I cut the red tape that was sealing the underwear number 1 bag with my knife. Inside that bag was a blue pair of thong-style underwear that was mostly see-through. The underwear was also covered in dirt. The underwear was placed inside the same drying locker as the shirt and bra on a shelf. The underwear was tagged as number 1 along with the case number. The drying locker containing the bra, shirt, and underwear was locked. The keys to both drying lockers were put inside a cabinet hole that only evidence personnel would have access to. Officer Placentia assisted me through the whole process of placing the items in the drying lockers. Officer Placentia completed a property and evidence report sheet containing Longmont's case number 18 TAC 7619. A copy of the property and evidence report sheet will be added to the case file. Photographs were taken of the items inside the drying lockers and will be submitted into evidence. Video and audio was recorded from the time I arrived at the Longmont Police Department till I finished placing the items of evidence inside the drying lockers. Video will be added to the case file. Nothing further. Officer Perez, TAC 987, Frederick Police Department. Now we're going to Discovery page 109, Supplemental 22, Baumhover, page 64 of 1960. Supplemental report, no property, by Dave Baumhover at 8:18, time 14:20 at the command center. So that's 2:20. And we are looking at the charges. So the charges are as stated. The statute is 18 TAC 3 TAC 102. The description is murder in the first degree. And then it is blank where it says person charged. The victim, witness, complainant is the victim, individual, Watts Shanann Catherine. Date of birth 1/10/1984, female, white. Address 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado. Zip code 80516. She had black hair, hazel eyes. She was 5'5" and weighed 148 pounds. The next victim witness is Bella Marie Watts, date of birth 12/17/2013. Wow, guys, let's see. So she would have been 9 next Thursday. Wow. Poor baby. Brown hair, brown eyes. 3'6", 40 pounds. Go down here. We say, because Celeste would be 7. So she's the next witness, victim, witness, complainant listed, and 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado, 80516, and says her hair was blonde, her eyes were hazel, she was 3'1" and weighed 37 pounds. And then we go arrestees and suspects. It says offender Christopher Lee Watts, 5/16/85, age at arrest 33. He's a white male, lived at 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado, 80516. Home phone number 910-304-1702. And here we go with the black hair, brown eyes, 5'10" and 225. And that's where I really, I was like, well, I thought he had kind of brown hair. It kind of looked like there was like a nicely formed turd over his head, like a turd cap. But one of our truth warriors said that NK said that his hair was black because Cindy is, she say 1/10 native? So that would make sense. So I really zoomed in on that picture where he's deeply French kissing NK. And I looked at his hair, and yes, in the back it is a salt and pepper. But in the front, though, it still has that kind of formed turd hair where it just looks like a turd was smoothed out into a cap. I don't know. So turd brown in the front, salt and pepper in the back. And yes, you're being good, boo boo. Thank you. Thank you, Big Mama. Thank you. Thank you for not jumping up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had to bribe them with treats so they would leave my laptop alone. I tried to record this 2 days ago, and yeah, they jumped up and screwed it up again. And so I had to reboot. I just don't like their mama doing anything other than worshiping them. Okay, so Discovery page 111. And we got some doodling. I appreciate doodling. I doodle all over everything. This is where it's handwritten in. And then we got the CBI lab case number where it's 18 TAC 3237. It's smeared and it's initialed by DJ 1918. And it's 1 out of 2. And it's from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation Evidence Transfer Form. The requesting agency is Frederick Police Department. The agency case number is 18 TAC 06743. Now, this is where items were procured from, it looks like. Because it has item numbers, descriptions of items, and the location of item collected. Okay, so DY1 is a black plastic bag, and it was collected from marker 1. DY2, black plastic bag, collected from marker 2. DY3, gray and white sheet, collected from marker 3. DY4, a rake head at marker 4. Wire V5, a rake handle at marker number 5. DY6, suspected hair from East Tank at the East Tank. So, guys, I have to take a quick call. Sorry. Let's see. What's up? I'm recording. No, so just tell me quick. What? It's got to be with the insurance, and they're not scheduling it right. Because I have no problems ever. What did they say it was from? Really? So it wasn't the other. What? That's crazy. What what was the explanation? What was the explanation? Did Sheila get called off? But still, you need to say something, like explain. What? No, I understand. Yeah, I walked right in and got in. I don't know, but the doctors all have had COVID there. Because mine was out for 3.5 weeks. I don't want to say because I'm recording, but no, I am so sorry. And was it the bitchy one? That does not even make sense because I've never had all the time I go there. I am so sorry. Is everything else okay? Is everything okay from yesterday? Yeah, this does not make any sense, and especially not with a big apology. Like oh my gosh, because this should not happen. This should not happen. They should have called. This does not make any sense. Oh, did they? Who'd they call? There's no voicemail. I'm so sorry, honey, because I know that pain does hurt. It does. So we have a splint, like a wrist splint. Will you wrap her wrist, maybe? Sorry. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. Love you too. I'm sorry, guys. Um, my son was taking his girlfriend to the doctor, and they got there, and they said there's no doctors in today. And she's got have you guys ever had one of those bumps on your wrist? It's called like a ganglion cyst. They used to call them Bible bumps, where like in the olden days they just smack a really hard book against your wrist because then that would essentially make the cyst pop inside because it's like a cyst that forms. So she's got a really painful one that's just aching at night. So we were trying to get that removed, but apparently there's no doctors. But when I went in for my pre-surgery yesterday, my doctor, you know, and I were talking about how we had the vid at the same time. Yeah, she was out 3.5 weeks from work. And we both had the same um, boosters, but our boosters, I guess, didn't cover Omicron. So that's what we figured that we both had. So, huh. So I'm really sorry for having to take that call. Um, I do apologize. So, this thing about the rake, if somebody was going to go and dispose of a body, why would they take a rake versus a shovel? And then, so this was actually transferred from Dave Yoakum, and it is, so it was taken in by Dave Yoakum, 8/16/18/0039, and the name is printed with Dave Baumhover and a signature at 8/16/0042. So he signed this 3 minutes later. They must have been shooting the shit for a few minutes. So then we go over here and it's D183239 and the CBI lab case number. And it's the other evidence transfer form. and it says DY7 partial rake handle. And, it's taken from marker 7. So what? Someone was violently raking and they broke this rake in half and what? So then this is just a whole nother sheet, and it is signed by Dave Yoakum and Detective Baumhover, 8/16/18, and they both agreed on 18/17. So 6/17, they're like, all right, we're gonna not shoot the shit on this. We're gonna sign at the same time. Now we're at Discovery page 113, supplemental 23 by Albert. So we're back to Ian Albert, and we're on page 68 of 1960. If you're following along, and we're report number 1806743, 8/18, 2018. There's a lot of 8s in here for the numerologists to look at that. There's a lot of 8s. There's 2 1s, a 0 and a 2. So 0, 1, 2. The big gap between the 8. 0, 1, 2. Then the 8. What would numerologists say about that? I'd love to see what they were saying about these dates in here. I know this isn't the date of the event, but this is a date when a lot about the case was going on. So there'd be a lot of energy there, I would think, to a numerologist. Maybe we need to call that one from Massachusetts back. Station 330, or the command center. And then it says arrestees and suspects. And it says on August 14th, 2018, at approximately 2100 hours. So again, that is 9 o'clock p.m. I was instructed by Detective Baumhover to take a cell phone belonging to Christopher Watts and respond to the Daycano Police Department. The purpose was for Daycano officers to conduct a search of the data from that phone. I arrived on scene at their office and met with Officer Boyer of Daycano PD. Officer Boyer received the phone and downloaded the data. Shortly later, she made a copy of the data on a USB drive and provided that to me. I then returned to the Frederick Police Department and provided the USB and the phone back to Detective Baumhover. Reference Daycano case, hashtag 18 TAC 04926. Nothing further at this time. Sergeant Albert, 976, Frederick Police Department. Whenever I see Albert, I always think of Prince Albert piercing. Discovery page 114. And we're still talking to Ian Albert at 1435 at the command center. And it says on August 18th, 2018, at approximately 1100 hours. So 11 o'clock a.m., I contacted Christopher Rusk via phone. Phone number's blacked out. I received a tip that Rusk had personally known both Shanann and Christopher Watts and may have information regarding this case. I spoke with Rusk, who identified himself as the service manager for the Longmont Ford dealership located at 235 Alpine Street, Longmont. Rusk informed me that C. Watts had previously worked at the dealership and Rusk was friends with him. After Rusk had heard that Shanann and the children went missing, he reached out to C. Watts via phone. Rusk stated that the only thing C. Watts said to him was that, in quotes, I shouldn't have talked to the media. Nothing further at this time. Sergeant Albert, 976, Frederick Police Department. I can't believe that was worth the paper that was printed on. Discovery page 115, page 70 of 1960. Still going on here with Officer Ian Albert on August 18th, 2018 at approximately 15:30 hours. So 3:30 p.m. I was advised by Detective Baumhover to respond to the McKee Medical Center in Loveland to retrieve an item of evidence regarding this case. I later arrived on scene and was handed a silver canister with the word Celeste written on it. I then returned to the Frederick Police Department and handed it to Detective Baumhover. Nothing further at this time. Sergeant Albert 976 Frederick Police Department. What would that be? What silver canister from the medical thing that says Celeste would that be? Discovery page 116. Supplemental report by Kenneth Dahl. Ken Dahl. On August 15, 2018 at 1600 hours, so 4 o'clock, Officer Dahl was asked to pass out flyers on the missing people. While passing out the flyers, Officer Dahl contacted 4 people that they said knew Shanann. Officer Dahl took the contact information from the 4 people and gave it to Officer Manley. Video was taken. No further information. Officer Kenneth Dahl, 979, Frederick Police Department. So then we're coming over here to page 72 of 1960, and we are at a supplemental report by Officer Jared Bakes, and this is at 451 at the Frederick Police Department. So what is the other one? Is the other one the command center? We'll have to figure that 333 one out. Lots of numbers to work out. I'm just taking out my messy bun and shaking out my hair, which next to this microphone you can probably hear it all. Do you guys do that too? When you take out your messy bun, you just kind of shake out all your hair and it feels so good. I love that the messy bun is a good hairstyle, because when you get a good blowout, the best advice is right before you exit the salon, get a tie that doesn't, so even if you give yourself a good blowout at home, straighten your hair out and everything, get a tie that doesn't have any elastic, so not a elastic ponytail from yesteryear. Get the little silk ones. And you know what? At Walmart, I went and got, so they're elasticized like ribbon, and you just cut it and then you make a little knot. So it's elasticized, but not gonna leave lines. So what do you call them? They sell them. So just look for those silk ones with a knot, as opposed to old ponytail holders. And our scrunchies from yesteryear actually work, and I have a few scrunchies from yesteryear, and I still use them too. So what you do right before you leave the house or the salon is you bend over and take it in the ass. No, just kidding. Wanted to make sure you guys were all awake. You bend over and you shake out your hair, and then you put your hair in a nice high ponytail and wrap it a couple of times and make the nice bun. And then when you're getting ready to go somewhere right before your event or whatever, you take out your, like the moment before you're getting ready to go in front of people, you take out the messy bun and shake out your hair, and boom, like you're walking down the runway. Because otherwise your hair just gets messed up the second you leave the house, leave the salon. This is a really good way to preserve it for a few days. I learned that from when I did some hair modeling at a blowout bar. It was great because they needed a model for every single style, and each stylist needed to prove they could do it. So I was in there 3 times a week getting free blowouts. Then they opened a location, they had the same thing, and then I was a lash model and all that good stuff, but because of my latex allergy, kept getting messed up, because even though we were using latex-free products, they put plastic tape that had the latex in it. So I saw the irritation, which screwed everything up. So I go everywhere with my own paper tape. I even keep paper tape in my glove box in the event that I am injured and need something latex free. So, anyway, I'll stop babbling. Here we are. We are with Officer Jared Banks. On Wednesday, August 15th, 2018, I arrived at work at approximately 1600 hours, so 4 o'clock. He moseyed on in for his shift. There were several different agency personnel at the police department at the time. I was briefed by Commander Egan of the situation and was assigned as the patrol sergeant and also to coordinate patrol personnel where and when they were needed. At approximately 1830 hours, I was asked by Commander Egan to drive Chris Watts' Lexus vehicle to the back of the police department from the front on 5th Street and coordinate with the Watts' father to retrieve his bag from the vehicle and then get him a ride to a hotel. Yeah, we saw this happen before, but let's just go with it. I'm making sure I'm on the right page. I didn't go back. And Boo Boo's asleep over there, so he hasn't walked all over my keyboard. Aren't you, Boo? Commander Egan also advised me that I would need to seize the vehicle and have it towed by Brad's Towing. At approximately 2030 hours, so 8:30, I had Officer James transport Watts' father to a hotel in Del Camino after he retrieved his gym bag from the back storage area of the Watts' Lexus. I then had Officer Goodman secure the vehicle with evidence tape and have it towed towing where it was placed in a secure storage building. Really, because what if literally the smoking gun, what if a criminal was handing off the smoking gun to the father, and put it in the bag so the father could take it for safety? I mean, that could have been done, but there's no smoking gun here. There's just something that shouldn't have happened that did happen, and we don't know. I don't know who really did it. So, I had Officer Goodman secure the vehicle with evidence tape and have it towed to Brad's Towing, where it was placed in a secure storage building. I was advised by Commander Egan that I would need to coordinate with Detective Baumhofer, who was in the process of obtaining a search warrant for the search for the Watts residence. Commander Egan advised that I would supervise the scene while the search warrant was executed at the residence. So he's going, ooh, I get to go and be the supervisor. Once the search warrant was signed by a judge and ready to execute, I responded to the residence at approximately 22:12, so that is 10:12 p.m. hours, and assisted the field evidence technician Steve Walje. I say Walleye, but it could be Wally Wall at the residence. I assisted Officer Walleye with collecting all the bedding, including pillows in both the upstairs kids' rooms and the master bedroom. I also contained the family dog in a kennel, which was running loose inside the house. I turned over custody of the dog to a family friend, Amanda Thayer, who arrived on scene to pick up the dog. Poor Dieter. I don't like it when dogs are in kennels. I understand that some people do, and I'm not a dog person, so I don't understand kenneling, but I'm also a person who obviously talks to my animals and treats them like family members, and so putting them in a kennel of any kind, I don't understand. So, of course, she would have a kennel because she probably locked Dieter up at the same time she locked the girls up so she could have her me time. But why didn't they question Dieter? Poor Dieter. Wandering around. When was the last time anybody fed Dieter? Thank you, Amanda there for picking up Dieter, but why couldn't they communicate that the frickin' Dietzes wanted their frickin' dog back? Because that's the Dietz called and said, I want my dog back. So that was in this time period. Why didn't they do that? But you know what? The Dietz should have just pulled on up and been like, give me my dog. Okay? Because then they would have had Dieter. They would have kept custody of Dieter. And I think that Dieter would have been happy back where he was from. After all the trauma that he saw, because he saw everything. They have like dog whisperers and stuff. Why didn't they bring dog whisperers in? What's that guy's name? Oh, I don't know. Emilio or something. Dog whisperer. Anyway. Poor Dieter. I video recorded the screen on the baby monitor while Officer Waljay strangled a doll on each of the kids' beds in their rooms. The baby monitor was located on the right nightstand of the master bedroom. The baby monitor cameras were fixed on a wall in each of the kids' bedrooms that focused on the beds. So why is Officer Walleye strangling dolls? Also, looked through a backpack which was located on the living room floor, which was determined to be Chris Watts' work bag. Inside the bag, I located a laptop computer which was seized as evidence. During the search of the residence, Brad's Towing arrived on scene to tow Chris Watts' work truck from the scene. I assigned Officer Manley with this task, and the vehicle was towed to Brad's Towing, where it was placed in a secure building. Once the search of the residence was completed, myself and Officer Waljay secured the residence and left the scene. We transported evidence we collected to the Frederick Police Department, where it was secured in a locked room until Officer Waljay could finish processing it and apparently strangling dolls. On Friday, August 17, 2018, I was requested by Deputy District Attorney Patrick Roche to send him the video I took on my work phone of the baby monitor screen. I was able to successfully send him the video. Nothing further. Sergeant Banks. Hashtag 975 Frederick Police Department. So what? They were like, hey, we were like strangling dolls and shit when we were in there. Why? Because he didn't say that he saw it on the monitor. He said he walked in on it, and he wasn't even doing anything in the master bedroom the way the story goes. So why were they strangling dolls on video? Weirdos. Anyway, supplemental 28, discovery page. In a second here. $118. Discovery page 118. Oh, slow your roll here, scroll. I hate that when it goes just a little too fast. So, Officer Lindsay Meredith on 8/20/2018 at 11:19 at 333 5th Street, which we've got to identify the other address because I don't know if that's the command center because it doesn't say it's a police department. But now we know that, we have a couple of different police departments helping. And so this is another form that's on the arrestees and suspects. And it says on August 14th, 2018, At approximately 09:45 hours, 9:45 in the morning, I, CSO Simmons, was asked to drive an unmarked police car to the area of 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado, and observe the above residence for some suspicious activity. I arrived on scene at approximately 1000 hours, so 10 a.m., and parked a few houses away in the 6300 block of Steeple Rock Drive. I kept notes of license plates passing in the area in the event they would be relevant on a notepad. The piece of paper has been entered into the case file. My notes are as followed: 10 a.m., 7:18 NGQ, a white van leaving the residence, texted to Detective Baumhover. 909 ZYH, 1021 ANI, 736, male and female go into residence, 1045, husband moved truck to east out of sight, 303 ZLO, 135 UNL, white four-door car, brunette with little girl, news interview, 11:45 FEPD, so Boulder on scene, so Fredericks Police Department, Boulder on scene, ANI 911, looped and left, 821 WFP, 1208 K9 YFQ 088 Black Explorer. At approximately 12:20 hours, CSO Scarlett relieved me of my duties, and after a short bathroom break, I joined Sergeant Albert in canvassing the neighborhood, handing out flyers along Steeple Rock Drive and Ruby Hill Drive. I documented which houses did not have an answer, and a flyer was only posted on the door. I later provided this list to Officer Manley. On August 15th, 2018, at approximately 1600 hours, I was asked by Officer Manley to assist with updated flyer handouts at Aggregate Boulevard and Wyndham Hill Parkway, Frederick, Colorado. I was stationed to the west of the above intersection and handed out flyers to all incoming traffic, asking for updates and asking residents to check their security cameras for footage. At approximately 1800 hours, I was told by Officer Fairbanks, who had also been handing out flyers at the same location and who had just received a phone call, that we were to pack up and leave the area, which we did immediately. Nothing further at this time. Huh. Why were they supposed to pack up? Get out of there. They were like, okay, immediately. We're on it. I was just scratching my back. I love back scratchers. I get them from the Dollar Tree. They're little bamboo ones. Well, not little, but they're like maybe a foot, maybe 18 inches long. And fun fact about Tabitha Jane. Tabitha Jane gets the itchy back like a bear, and I can't like go up to trees and like itch my back. So I keep one of these back scratchers from said Dollar Tree, my nightstand, so there's one within reach, in both of my vehicles. Well, one's my husband's, one's mine, the primary driver's. Because I get an itchy back, and I even keep one in my suitcase. So if I'm out of town, I have a scratchy back, I can itch my back. I just had to go in slow blink. Big Mama kisses there. So, let's see here. Supplemental 28, Meredith Simmons. And this is her handwriting, where she's got Ruby Hill Drive, 6305, 6325, 6333, 6330, Star Ring doorbell camera. So this is when they were canvassing and they were writing down which homes they left a flyer on. And Walnut Grove Way, 6316, has a Ring doorbell. 6308, nothing. 6304 has a Ring doorbell. 6244 and 3015 Walnut Grove Street. So they were just kind of documenting that as they were going, as stated. And they say over here there's more handwriting. And it is the handwriting of what was already typed that I just read. Now we're at discovery page 120 and page 75 of 1960, and we're in the supplemental report of Jared Banks. And this is 8:20 at 1720, so 5:20 at the Frederick Police Department. And it says here that sorry, going on August 20th, 2018, at approximately 1700 hours, I was asked by Detective Baumhover if I saw a shovel in the back of Chris Watts' work truck. I advised him that I did not, and I would complete a supplemental report with the information. Because that's my question. Like, why was there a rake, not a shovel? I mean, this is why, I just don't know that he could have done this because that just doesn't make sense. On Monday evening, myself. This scrolling is weird. On Monday evening, myself, Officer James, and Officer Coonrod were at the Watts residence speaking with Chris Watts about where his family may be. Officer James was speaking with Chris on the front driveway of the residence when I walked over to Chris's work truck, which was parked directly in front of the driveway to his residence facing east. I began looking into the bed of the truck over the tailgate and observed several silver toolboxes, some sort of pump with a large hose, and a few other miscellaneous tools. I walked over to the passenger side of the truck while still looking at the bed of the truck and observed a shovel. The shovel was a spade shovel with a red handle and had a black rubber grip on the end of the handle. I noticed there was fresh dirt on the spade of the shovel. I noticed the shovel was facing down, with the bowl of the spade facing towards the tailgate into the bed on the driver's side and angled upwards to the passenger side, with the end of the handle being close to level with the top of the bed of the truck. The shovel was stored in between the cab of the truck and a silver toolbox or gas tank in the bed of the truck. When the vehicle was towed from the residence on Wednesday night, I was inside the residence and not present outside while it was being towed. I had heard from someone that I cannot recall who that was that the shovel may no longer have been in the bed of the truck. While executing the search warrant at the residence, I looked in the garage, basement, and outside of the residence in an attempt to locate any shovels, but I didn't locate any. Nothing further. Huh. Interesting. So the shovel was in the back of his truck and then wasn't. Over page 121. So where's the shovel? I wonder if the gas can was indeed part of what they needed for the work truck. I know that there are theories that they were supposed to, whoever was involved in all of this, um, may or may not have been other people, that they were supposed to or intended to set fire to the oil tanks in the area. And that makes a lot of sense to me, because then this would be a real whodunit. Where are they? Were they there? And people could have collected on insurance money. I mean, I don't like to go to conspiracy theories, but I also don't think that somebody with half a brain would have left Shanann's body in such a shallow grave, not expecting that within 1 to 2 days they'd be caught. You know, it makes sense that there was gasoline because the fire was going to be set. In the conspiracy theory, I see where this goes when you think about it. But we're sticking to the facts here. So Officer Scott Coonrod on 8/20/18, 8:05 p.m., Frederick Police Department. On August 20, 2018, this officer responded to the Longmont Police Department to retrieve evidence that was drying. Upon arrival, I spoke with evidence technician Cavens. Cavens stated that she, technician Natchtrebe, and Sergeant Cage are the only people that have access to the locked dry safe, forensic evidence drying cabinet. I was advised no one had been in the cabinet since the items were placed inside. The cabinet was locked upon my arrival. I gathered evidence number 60, underwear, number 61 shirt, number 62 bra, number 66 sheet. The items were placed back into the original bags and sealed with evidence tape. I also collected number 79, the bottom cabinet floor liner, which was under the sheet in the evidence drying cabinet. Number 80, the dirt that had fell off the sheet, and number 81, the bottom floor liner, which was under the clothing items that were dried. The forensic evidence drying cabinet was divided into 2 sections. The sheet was in the door to the left, and the other clothing items were in the door to the right. The items I placed in plastic evidence bags and stapled shut to allow them to breathe. I placed evidence tape, too, over seals. I signed a property and evidence report sheet that Longmont Police Department had completed. A copy was provided and placed in this file. The evidence was later booked into locker number 12. Nothing further. Officer Coonrod, 09, TAC 01, Frederick Police Department. The supplemental report is to account for handwritten notes that I had taken during my telephone contacts with Christopher Watts and Sandra Rusick. Sorry, guys, just a second. Everybody seems to need something from me, right? No one can leave me alone. Leave me alone. There we go. Okay. So this supplemental report is to account for handwritten notes I had taken during my telephone contacts with Christopher Watts and Sandra Rusick. And During my phone contact with Christopher, I noticed the phone he had called from had been from a different number we had for him, so I wrote down that number in a post-it note to document the number in my report. I had also took some notes on Bella and Celeste's height, weight, scars or marks, as well as the scar he'd described on Shanann's forehead to be able to advise Weld County Dispatch records of the information for the missing persons report. As soon as I transferred my notes to dispatch and my report, I shredded them. I had taken some notes from Sandra as well, and again, as soon as they were transferred to my report, I shredded them too. Since the conclusion of the investigation, Commander Egan had advised all notes needed to be preserved for the case. I had already destroyed all my notes, and I am documenting here the reason for my notes not being available. End of report. Discovery, page 123, page 78 of 1960. And again, we're talking to Kendall. And this is at 821 at 941, 333 5th Street. On August 16th, 2018, Officer Dahl was informed that all written notes needed to be kept for the case. On August 14th, 2018, at 11:18 hours, Officer Dahl took notes on the name, date of birth, and phone number for Nathan. When Officer Dahl completed his supplemental report on the 14th, he destroyed the note. The time that the note was taken is recorded on video. Officer Kenneth Dahl, 979, Frederick Police Department. I guess because he's a Ken Dahl, he speaks in third person, because he just wrote that and spoke in third person. I guess when you're a doll, you do that, especially when you're dating Barbie. So anyway, here we are. We're doing a supplemental report with Officer Walj Steve. At approximately 10 o'clock a.m., so 1,000 hours, 1000 hours, on August 21, 2018, I reported to 245 Oak Street in Frederick to execute 2 vehicle search warrants. The processing of the vehicles was completed by CBI agents David Yoakum, crime scene analyst, and Kaylee Henson, forensic scientist. Prior to the beginning of processing, I verified the vehicle license plates and VINs matching them to respective copies of the search warrants. In attendance from our agency was Detective Baumhover, CSO Lindsay Simmons, and myself. All evidence items were transferred directly from above mentioned CBI agents to myself and immediately logged into property. All evidence items were directly transferred from CBI agents to myself and assigned an item number, which was written on each evidence bag. L. Simmons was in the course of being trained as a field evidence technician and assisted by writing on some evidence items bags, while I assigned numbers prior to transport. It's nice they had a helper, isn't it? Besides observing, my primary task was transferring evidence from CBI possession to our agency and into our evidence room. I signed a transfer of evidence form to that effect. At the time of the process, the evidence items located from the 2 vehicles were assigned as items 82, TAC 97. The suspect's work truck was processed first, then the Lexus. I placed copies of the vehicle search warrant along with the inventory list on the front seats of each vehicle. I requested the final photographs to be taken to include said mentioned documents. See Agent Henson report. Start of processing began at 10:20 hours and ended at 13:39 hours. So from 10:20 in the morning a.m. So 10:20 a.m. to 1:39 in the afternoon. So about 3.5 hours. Upon completing the searches, I resealed the vehicles with evidence tape to all locations that the previous tape was located prior to searches and wrote my initials and the date on each one. I immediately transported all evidence items to the Frederick Police Department and entered all items into evidence room for storage. End of report. Officer Wall J, 978 Frederick Police Department. And we're going into handwriting things, which are always a little bit tricky, so I'm going to stop here. It's Thursday. Husband and I have date night on Thursday. We started this 2 years ago? 3 years ago. 3 years ago on our 19th anniversary. We have everything. We don't need anything. We don't want anything. So we decided to give each other the gift of time. And so we decided on one day where we seemed to be getting having most of our arguments, where he was the most tired from work, and worked out that I was getting those days off from work. So to be Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon was just always tough for us. Commute was tough on him, and he was tired. He works Monday through Friday. He's retired military, but works a job that's Monday through Friday, that same kind of schedule. And so we would just go out, be served by somebody else. I'd bring my notes, and I'd take notes throughout the week of topics that we needed to discuss with the kids, the house, whatever. And it worked really good because then I wasn't trying to talk to him when he was stressed out at other times. We had an opportunity to be sitting across from each other in public, so we couldn't, slap each other or anything, and discuss all issues. And we got our finances together enough that we got all of our debt paid off and got things together enough that we were able to build our house and get things straightened out. And that worked really good. And then the next year's anniversary was we developed the if we can, we will. And so when we started as I've stated, there is this really cool service called VetTix, VETTIX. If you are military or someone you know is military, tell them to sign up for a VetTix. It's an organization that puts together unused tickets from events, and then events will donate certain tickets to or sections from events so veterans can go to concerts, because it's well known that when veterans were active duty, they didn't get to go to concerts or fun things with their families, and families were left behind. And so it's really cool to be able to go to these things that we never could have when he was active duty. And so there's a processing fee on the tickets, I think like $4 a ticket usually. Very reasonable. We've been able to go to some amazing things. And so we developed that if we can, we will. So if there's a date that there's a concert or something that we would like to go to, and we can, we will. So that was kind of cool. So Thursday is date night, and that's kind of always been our thing for 3 years. It works so good. We were noticing that our son and his girlfriend were fighting a lot, and we kind of talked to them about the once a week kind of thing that you put aside time for each other in the relationship. And with the exception of when I had COVID, we haven't missed any Thursdays. Or next Thursday's surgery, so be an interesting date day, right? So check out my Instagram on Tabitha Jane 0, and I hope you guys all have a great evening and enjoyed this recording, even though I haven't had coffee and I am stumbling over words. So we'll begin on page 81 when we begin again. Thanks again. Bye-bye.